Céline Dion is returning to Vegas with a brand new show set to open in August, which all sounds like great news. Her husband, René Angélil, though, has been battling throat cancer. And 7 months ago, the Canadian singing superstar took a break from performing to take care of him. Well, now the 5-time Grammy winner says the show must go on. And she says that René is encouraging her, in fact, to head back to work. So for more on the developments in her personal story, we're joined by the CBC's Kevin Sweet. And we're talking about this because she gave this interview to Good Morning America, I believe, in which we started to get a bit of a look at what's been happening in their world these past few months.
I guess you can say Céline is breaking her silence because since news broke of René battling cancer for the 2nd time around, we haven't heard much from her at all, which is extremely odd because this is a couple who throughout their entire career have been like open books. They've been very, very public with many aspects of their life, their 2 marriages, their children. So the fact that they were not talking was fueling widespread speculation, and a lot of people were asking the question, is he dying? We still don't know the prognostic. And I mean, even after this morning's interview, we still don't know. What we did find out is that he is not talking. We got a chance to see him for the first time, so he's up and moving about. He's not talking. He's eating through a feeding tube. She herself is feeding him 3 times a day. People who've met Céline Dion know that there's always a bit of sense of humor, even though she's extremely sad. She said, you know what, I feed my husband and then I feed my children, and she went on to chuckle. So here is an excerpt from that interview that she gave this morning to Good Morning America.
He can't use his mouth, he can't eat, so I feed him. He's got a feeding tube. I have to feed him 3 times a day. And
you did so much of this yourself.
I do this myself. And so I feed my husband, and I feed my kids.
That's classic Céline. I mean, and the interview did finish on a positive note, and she said, regardless of everything that's going on, we are living and we are going forward.
She's a very polished performer. I mean, it's one of the reasons she's so successful, and yet there was such humanity in that moment, there, a realness in it. Tell us more about their relationship that so many of us feel like we actually know.
The word that I like to use is mythical. I mean, in Quebec, it is mythical. It should practically be taught in classrooms because everyone knows the story. I mean, she was 12 years old when he received a cassette of her singing, a song that her mother had written. He took out a second mortgage on his house. He introduced her to some of the most world-renowned composers in the French music first, then encouraged her to learn English, and then introduced her to these mega superstar English producers. The Titanic song, for example, I mean, she did not want to do that, and René Angélil insisted that she record it. It went on to become the biggest hit of her career. Las Vegas, when a lot of people said, oh, Céline Dion is going to have a residence in Vegas, a lot of people thought that that was going to be the end of her career. She ended up saving, literally, the economy of Las Vegas. So they've often been associated one with the other. I mean, she's always had the voice, he's always had the vision. That I think for the first time, he's 26 years older than her. I think for the first time now that he's sick and he's getting much older, people are starting to see that Céline will have a future without René.
Unfortunately, not too soon.
Hopefully.
Thanks for that, Kevin.
Thanks.